Too much. I'm excited to find out.
I mean, let's not forget, the entire reason Cooler was even able to place within top 4 territory of the world ranking was before the weeklies even started. Cooler faced off against everybody at QuakeCon, the round-robin format, where every player in the QPL had to face off against each other to determine seeding, how the prize matches would take place on Sunday, and then obviously the championship match, of which Cooler was in it, top 2 against Kilson. He has convincingly defeated almost everyone that exists in the world in time limit duel, and that with it comes a pretty big reputation.
It's insane. I know he only lost 2 games before the champion match, and I know one of them was Razy, who is still in the bracket. There was one other place and went something like 17-2. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But so this is something that psygib can't be thinking about. It's very easy to look at Cooler and the kind of successes that he's had, the name that he has in this scene, and how he's been one of the icons for the game, definitely in the EU-CIS region for well over a decade. Now, put that aside. If you can put that in a little box, throw it away for a moment, and just think about the game, put an anonymous title where your opponent's name is, you know, then you can actually approach the series in a more normal fashion.
For sure. I know for sure, you know, the viewers at home that are watching the stream, I'm going to assume there's a significantly more Cooler fans in chat right now, because he's just a character, right? Cooler is such a legend in the game, not only in Quake Champions, but Quake as a legacy. Yeah. You know, but psygib, I feel like he's not going to psych himself out too much. And in many ways, he can't afford to even remotely go there.
He still has good LAN experience. He's still been there. He's still been around for a long time. He's been playing for a decent amount of time. And as I've said earlier in the tournament, I regard him as one of the most mechanically gifted players in North America. If he can get those fights to be opened up and he's not chasing a Cooler who's hitting those defensive rockets, then absolutely he can take advantage. But people sometimes underestimate how good Cooler's aim can be with the lightning gun, with the rail. This isn't 2010 anymore. Cooler's aim with hit scan is very, very strong at the moment. So make sure that you're playing the rest of the ABC game accordingly so that you've got that control, you've got that entry damage, and you're able to push him around the way that you want to.
But I think into the terms of the champion picks too, the champion section seemed pretty as expected. Nothing really picked seems to strike us as a curveball, especially going into map number 1, which looks a little bit, we've seen this and we know what to expect. Loading into map number 1, Cooler versus psygib. One of these players is going into the semi-finals. Let's get it started.
Let's do it indeed, Ketchup. We got Cooler up on screen first. He's managed to get himself the heavy armor over to the rockets. Might want a little bait onto that weapon, but I don't think psygib's going to be falling into any traps anytime soon. He has got the lightning gun. He has got the heavy machine gun. And Cooler quite quickly wants to get the HMG. It's such an important weapon on this map. At the moment, he's just been going for pot shots with the super shotgun. We've got dual wield. Cooler having to back away a little bit, but he's done good damage with the HMG. Will secure himself this mega health. psygib can return to the heavy. And that's not a terrible exchange for Cooler.
I mean, ultimately, it just came down to how much damage he peppered out when psygib popped that dual wield. You know, psygib specifically left the heavy to go so he could try and get some damage and retreat back. However, here comes a bit of a ranged fight, finally dropping the totem to get back in business, but psygib still manages to just delete that health bar, even with the totem in play. That was some crazy heavy machine gun.
And again, I was talking about don't underestimate Cooler. Definitely don't underestimate psygib if you are Cooler. There's going to be the mega health. Going to the American on stage. There is a totem for him to get rid of over at LG, but he's not paid attention to that just yet. Cooler outstacking him, but we do have dual wield available. Oh, the setup rocket going with the lightning gun. Can't quite push him into the corner. psygib is the one who is weaker, so probably looking for an exit route at the moment.
He is going to find that escape route nicely. Dual wield just covering his bases just in case. Here comes some LG coming out. Cooler being nice and aggressive. Heavy is about to spawn. psygib, does he double back to try and get some damage? Yeah, to take out some of those totems. Really optimize the use of time. But now, going by rockets now. psygib looking to potentially get something on deck. Cooler was able to at least be in position before, getting at least a couple of shots through on psygib, but not a lot of damage. Some LG peppers down. And now Cooler with no armor has to watch out. psygib, and doing some of that damage. Thankfully, the passive kicks in. Not enough to really be significant for this health bubbles anyway, so what does it matter?
He has got to watch out for 2 days. He can't go through the teleporter. He's not got terrible position. The mega health is going to be up. He's going to drop down for it. Shotgun to watch out for. Oh, that HMG damage. Looking for the damage through the grates, but won't find it. Cooler's going to survive a little longer and start to pick up those health bubbles. psygib has to have a little more respect at the moment with low ammo and mediocre health.
Yeah, that one exchange that took place near Mega, it was pretty much one rocket short of being able to completely seal the deal. Dual wheel, tri-bolt once again, just to spam and keep away. However, psygib has to be very mindful of his own stack, and it's going to get taken away happily. Cooler making things 1-1. You know, psygib trying to push as hard as he can, but a good spawn.
Whoa.
But even better for psygib, who answers back with the SSG. And he has to try and restack back up.
You have to be very aware of how powerful someone off the spawn can be with the super shotgun. It does an incredible amount of damage in that close range. I am nervous for psygib still because he has a lot of totems to go up against. He should start seeing the colors, but he's only taken down one. There's still another sitting there.
Dual wield on deck. He is going to pull the trigger on it now, just try and force away and collect the Mega. Hasn't been able to do it so far, and Heavy's going to be the next objective. Unfortunately, face checks a totem. There's a second one coming around here too, just to delete real quick.
He has got rid of a whole bunch of them though, so he might have taken 40 damage, but I'd still say that's worth it to get rid of this infrastructure that Cooler has. The nails, he's switching to all kinds of weapons, hitting lots of rockets and still locking down the kill. Not left with much health. That seems to be really the trend that we've seen in this match.
Pretty disapproving head shake coming out from psygib after that as well. There's a bit of a strange exchange. Jumping down in the Mega and Cooler can't challenge. SSG switch as well. We'll take that frag pretty easily there for psygib and the Heavy up. He's got a very comfortable rotation of these pickups now. Close range rocket. Aims for it, but neither player quite able to hit the mark. Cooler, unfortunately, licking his wounds. That's, yeah, bit of a small fumble there from psygib, unfortunately. Going to take some time, too, and allow Cooler to reconvene and pick up some of that stack. Gets a good rocket, but it needs a little bit more damage. Cooler able to escape, but with what cost?
Wow.
It's going to be the frag instead, that much.
Very on point, quick thinking from psygib. His weapon switches have actually been incredible. He's been so concise with all of it. In with the dual wield, managing to secure himself this heavy armor. The double super shotguns, taking down one more.
At that point, I'd say name a more iconic duo. Another spawn, SSG to blast Cooler away. 7-1, and we're not even 5 minutes in. This is a very, very excellent start.
Yeah, summarize what's going on at the moment, because right now psygib is going absolutely ham. 8-1.
Getting some good cycles on the respawns now too. Not going to be an SSG start though. psygib trying to be really mindful of these rockets. Dual wheel gets popped again. Cooler into the belly of the beast. The SSG again. Just absolutely annihilating. And right now, this is a super rush. Here comes the rockets now. psygib has to be mindful of his own stack. Even with the passive, it's still 50-50. That's not a huge amount.
His control has been brilliant. It's been amazing to watch. He's got to look out for the nails. Cooler's taking a lot of damage. Looks at the shotgun one more time. This time won't work. The range was just a little too far. Cooler, fairly weak. Heavy will be up in a couple of seconds. psygib looking for damage on the exit of the teleporter. Cooler was the totem up soon. He should be in a position now to get his own spree of control and maybe start to accumulate some kills.
Yeah, fortunately, Nail Gundam has plenty of ways to replenish, so psygib looking for that magical rocket. It's a little bit of damage, making things quite even. The totem has been dropped to full back. Mega's about to spawn. Who's going to be into the punch? psygib in and out. Is it going to be enough to win a fight, though? Cooler making the chase, but shut down by a defensive rocket. Good shot there from psygib. And there should be enough time for the small items to kind of respawn back in Nail Gundam if he needs be, but once more, the dual super shotgun seems to be the magical answer so far. 10-2. This is looking kind of one-sided at this stage. psygib is just absolutely picking the right fights, looking for more rocket damage. Cooler's able to finally seize that one.
He's got to watch out because he went a bit too far forward then. psygib's been aggressive and he's been strong with it, but on this occasion I think that's pushing it too far. You've got a strong lead. Try and kill at least 2 minutes now without allowing Cooler to get up to 5. And then you can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, securing yourself the victory. Right now, Cooler's starting to make a bit of a comeback. You don't want to start getting nervous at minute 7 and a half.
And there's a real possibility now for psygib to just take some of that time to gather some weaponry. You know, the Mega is just about to spawn. I wonder if he is going to be in a position to fight for it or whether he's going to concede. Looks like now he's going to give up Mega. And it is coming down into that, actually taking the time out. Has got a bunch of weapons, but the LG's looking good from Cooler. Absolutely takes out psygib, making it 10-5, and gets a wonderful spawn in Nail Gun. Fighting back. At this stage, actually, Cooler taking quite a lot of damage. Thankfully, heavy armor and a totem has just become online again. psygib's in a bit of an awkward position. He has to try and keep up and run away as much as possible. Going to get probably headed off here by Cooler, who's looking to chase this one down, starve him at all, if possible. And with that Mega about to spawn, looks like Cooler's in a good position to take it again. psygib doesn't have the stack to challenge it, really.
There's a light. Oh, psygib's gone towards it. That's exactly what Cooler was hoping for. He's bringing it back. One step at a time. psygib's just got to slow this down to snail's pace. It's so much easier said than done. He's got to find one or two weapons that he's comfortable with. This rocket slows Cooler down, but seriously not enough just yet. He's running past totems to get extra health. Shotgun to blast him back down, but psygib is left with 1 point of health.
And the chance to escape kind of bleak now as Cooler takes another major pickup. Heavy's about to spawn, and if psygib tries to challenge, it's basically a suicide mission at this point. Trying to get any damage he can, but Cooler, he wants more. It's not just about the Heavy, but he pushes a little bit too hard and actually dies for it. Cooler trying to be aggressive, take the frag, and then double back and get the Heavy. Unfortunately, psygib was way too ready on it. A good spawn for Cooler, having LG at the very least, but he is kind of stuck in no man's land versus a dual-wielding LG. The swap to the Super Shotgun for another time.
How many kills has he had with the Super Shotgun? I feel like it's more than half of his frags are with that weapon. It's been such great switches from him with every single weapon. Incredible level that we're getting from psygib, as there was a bit of a comeback happening from Cooler, but it's been shut down. We're now sub-minute and a half away from seeing psygib take a map away from Cooler. Who'd thunk it?
He's looking for more of those rockets, and it should be good. Even with the Mega about to spawn, Cooler can't really challenge for this unless he's going to lose his life for it. There should be a pretty free frag as well. Cooler with nowhere to run, but he's getting some wonderful heavy machine gun. Hang on a second. I kind of half feel like maybe psygib was looking at that and thinking, nah, I'll be all right. Wow, okay.
All right, Cooler getting himself a little bit more on the board. 6 in 50 seconds. You're looking to be record pace at the moment.
And at this point, psygib's just going to straight up run away from him. Any second wasted is a lifetime.
Yeah.
When you've got this little time left to make up for. 13-7 at this stage. Yeah, he's got the Mega, but that's because psygib wants him to take it. He doesn't care. As long as he's nowhere near psygib, it's fine.
30 seconds. psygib's counting him. Dual wield. Oh my god, there's rockets from psygib! What was going on there?
Even psygib himself can't help but crack a smile at that one.
You never see the Mafia boss smile. He's ecstatic with that. And he absolutely should be. psygib, is this the beginning of something special? What a performance here on Corrupted Keep Catch-Up.
If anything, it's just pure momentum that he can carry into future maps to come. Looking to get another bonus frag on Cooler, of which he's able to pick up 16-7. That is a pretty convincing way to kickstart this quarterfinal zoo.
That was absolutely unreal from psygib. You know, we look at the stats on paper, we look at these two characters going against one another. We've got someone of such history going up against someone who's now looking to make history.
History in the making, my friend.
This is an unbelievable start, but we've seen some starts before. This is very different, but it reminds me of Genic versus Dahang, having a great beginning, winning on Corrupted Keep, funnily enough. But it's how can you go on from there? I think that psygib is veteran enough that he is going to be able to hold his nerves together, but he has to be able to keep on pushing, digging deep. How much further can he go? And we've got, of course, a plethora of replays for us to look at.
Most of which will probably involve the Super Shotgun in some capacity.
Yes, definitely.
But it's a testament to how each map can offer really a different way of handling combat. You know, on Corrupted Keep, the Super Shotgun has always seemed to be almost like the most devastating weapon that you can sometimes find on a map like this, because it just gives you real presence. You know, you're so used to having certain spawns, and we saw it in motion actually throughout this map. Situations where it's like, okay, I've caught him on the spawn, I'm fine. But if you so happen to spawn right next to an SSG, you have to show it the utmost respect, because the amount of damage output in a short space of time on a map where being close range is almost guaranteed most of the time. It's something to definitely worry about. The psygib looking in absolutely top form in first map. There's a lot to keep going through, though, as we go into more maps. Yeah, this was the moment. Juggle, juggle, juggle.
Oh, my God. I mean, I don't know if they're air rockets or not because you had the wall next to it, but what does it matter? It was like triple in the air or so.
And the rest of the frags we saw there, kind of just bonus frags, really. But we're loading into the next map now. What does this spell for Cooler and psygib?
So, well, I wanted to ask you a question.
Ask away.
Do you think that Cooler underestimated psygib?
There's always the potential, because if you're someone like Cooler, and again, really to throw back, I'm pretty sure these players haven't really gone head-to-head with the exception of QuakeCon, where everyone had to fight everyone. For all we know, that might have been the first time they've properly played Duel in general. Cooler is it's very simple for Cooler to kind of just do his thing against most players and mosey on by from that alone, because he just has this efficient, slow and steady wins the race, you know, where he's not afraid to just play at his own pace, choke you out massively with all the different pickups. But psygib, he's been on such a fast climb recently, and I think this is probably some of the best shape I think we've ever seen from him.
And I've got to say that map is also usually amazingly good for Cooler, so the fact that he won like that is very big. Anyway, we have moved into the next map, guys. It's psygib versus Cooler. We've got psygib with the Athena, Cooler with the Visor. Have we got any more twists in this tale? As we see Cooler on his Visor, he's got himself the Mega Health, getting a few weapons. Looks like Rail was not far away, taking a bit of rocket damage.
I mean, we've all seen the usefulness of Visor on Blood Covenant. You know, that extra element of vision on such a rail-heavy map such as this does really go a long way. Athena, very much, I think, a high-risk, high-reward champion. psygib has demonstrated previously that he obviously knows a thing or two about this champion, but she's very much a glass cannon. You know, at the cost of some of the best mobility you'll ever get, she is extremely squishy. And even if you have that wonderful mobility, you know, one amazing rail-happy player, and she gets shut down constantly. So it's really going to be, I think, in psygib's court to be as careful as possible, to not give up anything too free. But, you know, at the cost of having to be extra careful, he's going to have, you know, that variety of kind of going wherever he wants at record pace.
That's why, as much as Athena can do some impressive things, when we've seen her in the Pro League, oh, hold on a second, we've got to fight up at the rocket. psygib going to look to try and get away. He's got 1 health left. He zips out of there. Has he got any further way of escape? He's managed to get a light armor or health bubble. Looking to get down the bottom, but he's only on a couple of points of health. Up the LG staircase. There's the rocket jump. psygib still nearby, but Cooler, it's a little trap. He knows what he's up to. There he is, trying to get one rocket, the shotgun. Oh my god, he almost lost out on that with one more shotgun blast. Cooler still gets the first blood, though.
Fundamentally, all that matters is that Cooler was able to seal that frag, because if he lost that, if anything, that's just a knock in the face. That says that Cooler did everything right. He just needed to get one hit, missed a couple of rockets. And if those shotgun blasts connected, then that would have been one of the most impressive turnarounds we've seen. However, going in with the rails, really trying to use those pillars to his advantage to block off as many shots as physically possible. Tribal is peppering down. Going to tickle Cooler at this stage. Not really anything to worry about just yet. The next objective very well could be that heavy, as it's 5 seconds away from spawning. psygib is heading him off, but he's very weak indeed. Cooler with the pickups, very, very easy to collect. And now fresh off the spawn, what's the play?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, for me, I wanted to say earlier, we haven't seen Athena really at that top level in Quake Pro League yet, which makes me feel like Cooler does have a big advantage on the champion picks on Blood Covenant. But that means that we're open to get more information. Athena isn't the most picked. Let's see if psygib can surprise us. 2.5 minutes in, it is about Cooler, but there's plenty of time for control to change.
There's always the opportunity for him to throw us a little curveball. It's always nice to see variety in this kind of setting, but Cooler going in with that consistency so far, working out for him. We're just short of 3 minutes in. This Visor's been putting in so much work. Jump pad gets a little bit of a faulty rocket.
Whoa.
Quite hit the angle. Looks like psygib. Is he going to be aggressive on this? Maybe not so much after those rockets connect. 2 magic shots and psygib's finished off.
He had some great downwards vertical hook play. He was starting to land some rockets, but then it was all about Cooler stringing his shots together. The thing is, if Athena can get control, she can get around the map so quickly. Cooler's always got to be on his toes.
That piercing sight, meaning that at the very least, Cooler can fortify towards Mega and collect it. That initial missed rail means it's going to be a little bit easier, just weighing out, and wow, that tricky little swap to rail, landing the shot he needs to. psygib's in a bad shot, should be another frag by all means. psygib backing himself into a corner, trying to collect that light armor. Can we get the spawn? Nah, not quite. Good shot, once again shutting him down, and fresh off the spawn, psygib's not going to have a lot besides maybe a rocket launcher. That might have changed as we go near rail, but even then psygib has to use that grappling hook to get in and out.
Spotted, piercing sight. psygib should have read that it was used then. Cooler managing his stack flawlessly. I see no mistakes at the moment coming out from Cooler. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. psygib, though, weak yet again. He's got a hook left on him. Of course, guys, works on a charge basis, if you're not familiar. And you can get 3 when you have your cooldown fully returned. Well, there's the heavy pickup again for Cooler. Swing on by over towards the Mega Health. psygib's got to find a way out. Does land a tasty rocket, but he still doesn't have enough fuel in the tank to hang around. And he's missing rails like this. He needs to hit these shots to slow down Cooler, because from it, he's still on the hunt. There's no anxiety about it.
That piercing sight's going to give us even more information. And it's just allowing such a crazy level of control here. I feel like psygib, the only time he's really, realistically been able to collect anything has been when there's been a split, when Cooler's too busy taking something else that he deems more important. Another rail, even without piercing sight, Cooler's been hitting some fantastic shots, and it's just constantly keeping psygib playing from behind. Now, when you are playing, by all means, a glass cannon champion, and you're having to constantly play from behind when someone's really stacked, I'm not realistically sure what your options would be at this level. Because look, Cooler sees you, he spots you, you take massive damage, you try to retreat, but your stack will only go so high because you're one of the light champions.
Very curious about Cooler item stats at the end. His control has been second to none. And that's what Cooler is all about most of the time. psygib's going to back out there. He should be able to get himself onto the mega health just about. Cooler misses his shots. This is possibly the opening that psygib's looking for, but he has to start executing. He'll back away. There's a light. There'll be rail. If you can get onto those weapons, it's not too late. As long as he can get that control fully away from Cooler by minute 7, and he can start laying down the pressure where Cooler is scrambling for light armors, there's time for a comeback.
But that time becomes dangerously less as every minute passes. So psygib, he's got a decent stack now, but realistically, he has to do something with it. But as long as Cooler is hitting shots like that and rockets that hit as meaty as they do, it just becomes almost impossible for psygib. And at this point, this will be another pickup. The rockets have just been an absolute pain in the backside for psygib so far. 6-0. And that lead is only looking to climb further and further. Psygib, without any armor, has to be really careful down here. He's trying to pepper down to fight for the heavy at the very least, but I think Cooler, if anything, is just trying to get some of that free damage. Retreat back, play it cool again,
Hopefully.
wait for psygib to reappear, and so far I just feel like Cooler, it's almost like he's just been playing a game of just constantly picking up the items and shooting psygib if he's nearby, but he doesn't really seem to be fearing him at all.
It's shooting him so that psygib can't even properly challenge for the items. There's been few instances where psygib has been able to go to a major item and think, yeah, you know what, I've got a second. I got a second to think and not be under pressure. Cooler taking a moment.
Yeah,
he knows he's got a second.
But that's it, it's another minute lost. And while psygib's running around trying to re-establish something that resembles control, Cooler gets some of those 3 minutes. The combo is real! That one hurt so much. Looking for a rail. And even if the rail missed, realistically, do we think psygib can get away? Tries to spring a trap. Can't quite get the frag he's looking for because once more Cooler's stack, it's just far too extreme. Shoots the entry rocket, but nothing. I'm just constantly eyeing up that clock now. The longer Cooler goes unchallenged and every second passes, it just becomes a nightmare for psygib to try and get back up on. But Tri-Bolt, just to pepper through psygib off his airborne momentum a little bit too, sending him a little bit too far forward, and I think he's comfortable with.
Cooler rocket jumps, they're here and there sometimes. Oh, hello. There's a swing on by. psygib's managed to keep some overstack for a short period.
Hits the shot, and that's been the common story. psygib looks like he has an opportunity to try and get some damage, but by doing so puts himself right in the line of sight of Cooler, who doesn't fail to miss ever. And now less than 2 minutes left. Cooler just seems to simply keep doing what he's doing at this stage. And psygib, I really feel like, unfortunately, this Athena pick, it's just too light.
Yes.
Right, the stack just isn't there. He's constantly playing with less HP and armor. And when a fight finally happens, he just doesn't have the advantage in any way or shape or form.
I feel like Cooler's been more reliably hitting shots too.
Oh yeah.
He's been able to apply pressure with the HMG with the rail a lot more than psygib's been doing that. psygib had a fantastic map 1, but it's not been able to translate over to Blood Covenant for the time being. There's going to be rockets, there's going to be another kill, and Cooler going to be feeling better and better, and soon memories of Corrupted Keep will be fading away from him as we stare down an Awoken that'll be taking place next.
More close range action. psygib trying to get at least one frag at this stage. I think if anything, you're just looking for a bonus frag at this point, aren't you? But this time it's a trade.
Got something there.
Half counts. In half counts.
Hey, the numbers on the board.
Yes, it is. But I mean, what to really reflect from this is when Cooler's currently online, this was just a game of Cooler rotating the items pretty much from start to finish. At no point did it feel like psygib had control. At no point did it feel like he was even able to challenge Cooler's stack. Even now, Cooler, he's got the armor. And the armor in this kind of exchange is what really is going to work, because he's going to get this guaranteed shot now. Just needs to run away. Who even needs a frag at this point? It's game over. Absolutely.
Yeah, completely. again, hard to criticize Cooler at all. There's just no point. His control has been amazing. The pressure with his aim has been phenomenal. And he always seems to know what psygib wants to be achieving. I mean, we're looking at that rail to rocket combos that we're seeing for the whole full 190 and 190 damage to a stacked Athena. I mean, it's see you later stack. Oh. Okay, last couple of seconds, psygibs get a pretty tasty frag, but overall, a convincing victory we've seen from Cooler.
Yeah, those 2 frags at the last minute almost strike me as Cooler not really worrying if he's out of position in any way because he knows he has it in the bag. You know, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. That map was going to be finished, and from the absolute beginning until the very end, this was the Cooler show, and psygib simply having to just play in a map that Cooler happens to be running around in and collecting all the items.
Yeah, Cooler feeling more than comfortable. And he's not the type of person to be holding grudges from a map that he's lost. He's forgotten, he's continued. We're soon going to have to start thinking about what the next map is going to be spelling for us. But for psygib to improve, I genuinely think just the way he's applying pressure. If he's able to string together a couple more shots to make Cooler feel a little less confident about pushing in on him, I think that can help him to no end, which is strange considering the praise I give psygib normally for his mechanical skills. It just seemed to be just a little flat during the map. It's a best of 5. There's a long way to go. He can rectify that.
But then we also have to look how Cooler is in many ways the master of mechanical skill. That's always kind of what he is absolutely famous for, is just having this almost completely unchallenged display of just understanding the game. And Duel in particular, you know, just the master of timing and making it feel like... That was that famous quote from Rafa many, many years ago for Quake Live where he says, facing Cooler, he compared him to a python. You know,
yes.
it feels like you're being choked all the time. And that's just how he approaches this 1v1 mode.
It does that through the items too. So, you know, he'll be denying items. He'll be, you know, by doing the self-damage here on Quake Champions, he'll be taking all the mages. You'll have them synchronized in a way that suits him, and he'll be toying with you, essentially. Catch up, we're going to be moving over to Awoken. We've got a Sorlag for psygib, and we have a Strog for Cooler. An interesting game, this one. Cooler may be looking down a bit of Quake 4 memory lane with the Strog and the crouch sliding. psygib on Sorlag. I don't think this is a bad matchup for psygib at all. It's going to be about the damage output from Cooler. Again, the long range. psygib, can he start to land those shots like we saw earlier?
Maps that force you to adopt slightly different styles just due to their size or layout, it's almost like a guaranteed fresh start. And a fresh start is what psygib needs at this point, because he took a really, really good map 1. Map number 2, the complete opposite end of the seesaw with Cooler just dominating his way forward. Awoken, I mean, this is a different beast, and we'll see who adapts the fastest. The initial push into LG, psygib trying to get some damage, and actually, just got into the acid with microseconds to spare. But Cooler, without armor, is going to be a little bit tender.
Both of them are very weak. Cooler doesn't have that railgun. Shotgun coming down. psygib will eventually connect it. He missed the first, but he's got some speed. Going to try and get himself around to go over towards the mega health. Oh, but he doesn't manage to pick it up. Cooler's taken it, but they've got the Pika down to 18 points of health.
A little bit of damage from the rocket, but even more from the rail. Misses the rail shot. This fight is still anyone's, however, with the fact Banana is around and all these little pickups to make psygib, at the very least, you know, able to tank one rail. And that's one consistent layout. Cooler's just collected a light armor. So one of the first light armors he's actually been in a position to collect. That rocket was so tasty! And he's going for the area denial. Has Cooler stepped too far? No!
Super
the point
smart.
of no return. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Very, very smart play from psygib. This time he's not going to overcommit towards the mega health. He manages to put some damage down, getting rid of the overstack armor, looking for the pre-fire up on the broken wall. And psygib just looking to repair his stack of it. There is the railgun. He opened up himself, but Cooler misses the shot somehow. Doesn't miss this one.
But I think that one missed rail was kind of one of those micro rails that you kind of really needed to hit because it would have put psygib a little bit behind. And now psygib still keeping a comfortable stack, so when these items appear, scratch that! That rocket saw to that one. Wasn't in a position to maybe fight for something, but kind of backed into a bit of a corner. Cooler consistently being without armor, really. But he has so much health that he can realistically try and go for the heavy. Unfortunately, drops down at a bit of an odd time. psygib happy to collect it. And at this point, everything should be roughly respawning around Banana. But it's a ring out for you.
Okay. psygib on Awoken seems to have kind of tended woken up again, because things weren't really working for him on Blood Covenant, but it is certainly settling in here.
Looking at getting some of those big bonus hits. Can he melt away some of the Mega? I mean, that actually a bit of an impossible situation, but that LG still peppered down quite nicely.
Oh my god, he still gets rid of so much armor. And the rail he finds again. That was a clean angle from psygib.
So hard to face off against an aggressive Sorlag sometimes on Awoken. The fact that she can really just go fresh spawn, giant stack, let's spawn near whatever weapon we can and just go ham, especially if you have the Acid Breath ready to go. It's quite intimidating. We saw Cypher put that to more than good use earlier today. It's an important rail. Very, very important stuff. psygib now forced on the defense. That light armor's going to stop the bleeding for a small time, but there's still a few stuff he has to pick up. Can't comfortably take a fight just yet. Very, very weak indeed. Light armor spawned, but it doesn't matter. And Cooler, instead, is just going to run in and collect everything anyway. Only one frag now separates these two players. A little bit of entry damage with the rocket. Looks like Cooler's going to chase this down. Hits a delicious rail, actually. Has a good opportunity to chase this. psygib doubling down and jumping down the platform. Is this going to be possible for him? I'm not so convinced, especially now the Mega's been taken. psygib, no choice but to hold that one.
psygib's rushing into certain items where he's still heavily exposed to Cooler. It's like he's going for his first choice. You need to be holding on a little bit more than that. psygib weak, will fall yet again. Acid Spit will have some effect, but Cooler will immediately heal that up. Cooler now taking a lead on Awoken, but with a precarious health and armor stack.
Cooler has got a slight lead. Big thing I'm looking at though is just psygib. I fear that he's sometimes forcing himself into quite unfavorable positions. I know if you're being hyper aggressive and you hit every magic shot that you need to hit, it's kind of different. But now Cooler is just hitting every shot he needs. Hyper blasters and the kamikaze delete in the nick of time, and actually that rail keeping him alive, but barely. psygib still extremely weak, but that rail was so important.
He still needs to find more health and armor. There's just not enough on the map, it seems. There's going to be one more rocket. Okay, some good damage. The health bubble hasn't spawned, but the rail is going to land. We have got the Mega Health up and ready. psygib spawns with a good stack. He's going to run right into him. A good rocket damage. Look at the nails, though. psygib left so weak. 39 health left for Cooler. Machine gun takes him to 15. Heavy is going to be up, and psygib can't apply pressure to it. This stack's been so fragile.
But I think until Cooler collects some health, of which he has right now, he was a little bit at risk himself. It's just the armor making such a big difference here. Looking at some of those prediction rockets as he comes around. Looking to try and maybe secure this Mega. And this Mega indeed is very, very important. Missing the rail, forcing Cooler to retreat, but he's just trying to seek out another angle. The Mega has been taken by psygib, so signs of life! And he goes full speed ahead. He's quite weak to stick around, quite a risk.
Cooler can find him off the spawn. This is really dangerous. He gets the item, but it might be worth it, actually. He has to continue this, though, and attack at the Mega Health. And he's not quite there for it. Cooler skips away, sees psygib on the sidelines. And there's a good rail shot. And now that the Mega Health is spawning, psygib with his speed has been able to do a lap around the map, and hey presto.
Yeah, there's a real opportunity for psygib to make something of this situation, but Cooler making sure to prioritize heavy in this situation. Does manage to hit the angle, but the rail colliding with the wall. A little bit unfortunate there for psygib. He's in a bit of an awkward position now where, yeah, the longer these rails miss, Cooler with the speed to just go in with the crouch slide and punish him heavily for it. Something psygib has to be quite worried about. Good rail, just to shut him down just temporarily. psygib still has a stack that he can take a fight, and knocked him off the Mega. Perfect rocket placement right on the feetsies. To knock him into the air and knock him away from the Mega location. Got a good spawn. psygib, I mean, say a prayer there, mate. Fresh off the spawn with a machine gun, there's no way you're surviving.
Yeah, indeed. He's running into the action quickly, while Cooler's still confident and stacked up. And psygib is just going to dart away as soon as possible.
Getting more damage thanks to the nail gun. psygib caught swapping weapons for the wrong tool for the wrong job. 10-5 now. Cooler looking real good on Awoken so far. He's been keeping this cycle of, at the very least, the Mega. And it's the pivotal moment. The second he landed that rocket a couple of frags ago and just knocked psygib clean above it. And it's all down to just wonderful rocket placement. The acid comes through. Cooler not really worried because he's perfectly out of range. And with the missed rails, psygib is missing some of these important rails. No ring out needed as the rocket's going to hit its mark again thanks to the knock-up. No way you can control your air in that situation. 5-11 now. Cooler just maintaining this air of dominance and not much of this map left to go to.
Yeah, psygib's attacking a little late. He's not getting the damage ahead. He's played it a bit impatiently, and Cooler is... He couldn't be more on point with his aim.
Feel like a bit of a problem there for psygib, and even then that rocket jump, all it really did was make the rail whiff, and that's not a problem at all. Well, the objective is to escape that situation. It doesn't matter if you do damage to them or not. And Cooler continuing to run this cycle. psygib struggling to find his footing on any of these pickups, pushed towards Mega for another time. I always feel like a common thing of the fact that Cooler has such flawless timing on these pickups. psygib's always there a couple of seconds too early, which almost puts him out of position, because all Cooler has to do is just show his face, and it will naturally force psygib away from it.
Well, has psygib got any last words here? He's had some strong moments. This one might be a strong moment in itself, but for it to transform into anything else, has to go pretty crazy. Does find Cooler up at the top, will get himself another kill.
Now, if he's able to completely daisy chain this, there is a shred of a chance.
A shred.
Against the like of Cooler, though, I don't know. This almost feels like one of those impossible situations that if it happens, Cooler has to royally screw up.
Yeah, it's very much about that. psygib needs the planets to align for him.
Yes, an entry rocket.
That's just splat.
Just did him a favor, really. Gave him an awkward position that psygib had to try and, I guess, react to in the spur of the moment, but Cooler didn't have to worry about it at all. More rocket damage coming out. psygib's going to die again, 7 to 16. I'd say put him in a body bag, because this map's going to be finished.
Yeah, this one is over. Cooler's been absolutely brilliant. It was touch and go at the beginning as it was contested heavily, but I felt like psygib's kept up that pace again with not necessarily doing the groundwork, and Cooler's not dropping a beat with his aim.
A lot of these crazy punishes coming out. The rocket jump to initiate. psygib once more trying to react accordingly with the rocket, but when someone's rocket jumping, it forces the direct. That's the danger when someone goes that fast. You have to hit the mark perfectly. Ooh. Speaking of which, we do see a little bit there, but it's very much too little too late. 8 to 17, like this map was finished a few minutes ago.
Never too late for some air rockets, though. I'll always accept it. Oh, God. If we could do it a while ago.
Yeah. If that was one of the first frags he acquired, then perhaps, but psygib once more getting a frag, but Cooler's doing such an amazing job of just shredding in combat that when psygib finally gets a frag, he's too weak. You know, there's really no way he can maintain the pressure because Cooler will spawn near an item, simply slide his way into victory, and kind of just pepper down the last little bit of damage he needs, and most of the time it's not really very difficult. Cooler controlling heavy again, and that's going to be the final major pickup collected here on Awoken. It's going to go to Cooler for another time, making this 2 to 1. Cooler now sitting on a match point scenario, and psygib having a very, very good start, but that's kind of where it ended.
Yeah, we're kind of returning back to the sort of normal storyline that I believe we would have been expecting. It's obviously not finished. We're getting through the adventure quite well. But, yeah, Cooler's now doing, I think, what he kind of expressed that he would through how well he's been playing over recent months, over the last few lands. This is a good return to form after just a blip on the radar with the Corrupted Keep, which I'm still very impressed by psygib, showing us that world-class quality that he's got. But Cooler, I mean, he's made of pure class.
But I know that we discussed this at the very beginning, and the talking point of, you know, psygib, he's talented, and that's without question. And that talent and how he's playing this weekend might secure him a map. Starting to feel like maybe Corrupted Keep was that map, and we're kind of going into business as usual for the remainder of the series, because these other maps, Corrupted Keep, a huge part of that was just the constant chaining of amazing combat decisions, wonderful weapon switching, and just laying the pressure on to the point where Cooler had no opportunity to play a game of control. With the natural fact that Corrupted Keep is automatically different thanks to the fact there's no rail. The rail has been something that's been consistently shutting down psygib the moment it becomes available.
But something that was so awesome on Corrupted Keep from psygib is the way that he was making these aggressive plays, these ingenious reads, while also having to the second timing and being able to run, you know, make everything happen around those fractions of a second where he knew the items were coming up.
As we can see there, just checking out some of the results as we go forward in this series. Cooler looking fantastic in this quarterfinal and is one map away from facing either the winner of Kilson or Wenger. And that's quite a mammoth task ahead of every player here in this bracket, but for the sake of one more map to get through, Cooler really showing us why he's the king of control.
Yep, that's the foundations of his game. Moving into Blood Run now. It's a Keel versus Nyx. Now, when I look at this, I feel that, again, we've got to talk about Blood Run and how important an early frag can be. This is going to be essential for psygib not to give up that early frag. Nyx is going to be so great at that defensive game. You get one or you get two, and already you can pave your way to not certain victory, but at least a strategy which is strong on the map to play defensively versus the less mobile Keel.
And we've all seen what happens when CIS players get their hands on Blood Run.
Indeed.
But we're going into this map now. psygib with the Keel pick. He's going to have significantly more potential for the damage output. But I really feel like Nyx and the Ghost Walk combined, it's just going to be quite a potential for things to be a bit troublesome. You know, if that Ghost Walk is out and Cooler gets caught out of position, those grenades at close range will absolutely melt her health away being a light champion. But he has to be in that position first. Something Cooler's pretty famous for is keeping himself out of harm's way. It's what makes him so frustrating to play against. Ooh, good rail though. Opening up something. psygib now just needs to finish it. And answering back, Keel with that large hitbox. Pretty easy to just really dish out any damage to. He has one of the larger hitboxes of any champion in the game, so Cooler, I don't see him missing anytime soon.
Does need a bit of lightning gun, but again, not to be too predictable. I'd say armor is the biggest priority, but chronologically, we've got the Mega coming up. Again, look at some stray damage. Cooler does manage to deflect some a bit with his own. No rail on that exit. Is there a Ghost Walk push to the teleport, or am I going? Nope, I'm going crazy catch up.
Looks like Cooler was sitting there to wait on it, just in case. The plan to potentially sit there for when it spawns. Mega is going to appear very, very soon indeed. Looks like Cooler's setting up shop temporarily, but we'll see. And those grenades constantly being used here. Pushed down from quite a close range. Ghost Walk is available if he needs it. And he has deemed it important, not before he gets in and out with all the important Mega health at a split second. Cooler with the precision timing. That nearly went pear-shaped.
Oh god, he's got the LG on him, has got any extra resources, we've got the light armor taken, but that is going to be the first blood to psygib. Absolutely massive. Is he able to get a bit more? He's trying to get himself on the health, so Cooler misses the jump across. psygib's not going to be quite railable with this 25, but he's still in a dangerous position. However, Cooler, no Ghost Walk, still has to watch out a little bit. 5 seconds till the heavy. There's going to be the push. But that is still going to be the frag for Cooler, who's going to take back control of Blood Run.
There was that last-ditch effort to swap to the super shotgun, but just, you know, a half second, a little bit too early was he fragged and no opportunity to fire. And these rails are just coming through and putting the pressure on. Now, if you're able to put pressure on someone like Keel, yes, he's got crazy damage. The problem is he's definitely not one of the fastest champions, and he's much easier to hit. So if psygib's trying to survive over the course of this map, while he's one of the easier champions to actually connect hits on, kind of like that, you know, through the smoke, necessary just to get through. Cooler with a massive stack. Fresh off the spawn, a terrible position for psygib. Finished off by the shotgun, and that's just a free frag by every definition.
Okay, not a bad rail. Forcing Ghost Walk out. As I said, getting a lead for Cooler is very dangerous for psygib just because of chasing can become an issue for him. But psygib's decided that he wants to hit everything.
But what also connected was a juicy rocket. So if Cooler's able to disengage for long enough and survive, we might see that add up a little bit. It did force psygib to retreat, but Cooler getting the perfect play and the perfect prediction, knowing he's going down the jump pad and just reacting accordingly for when he jumps down. Once again, he knocks him off. Very important rocket to knock psygib away from the heavy. If Cooler can come off better in this fight, he's going to be rewarded with a massive advantage. Looks like psygib, is he going to dedicate? I think he thought about it, but I don't think he's going to fully dedicate to it just yet. A nice delay. He is going to get a heavy, but he's pretty weak. Has to get some of those small health bubbles. Looks like he went down near the ramp section to get the 2. And Mega spawning as well. But Cooler with this, you know, I want a Blood Run, I'll say. It's a sizable frag lead. Doesn't really need to overextend too much. Can play quite safe if he wants. psygib has got a wonderful stack, though.
psygib has control. So he's done step 1. Can he catch out Cooler? He can't let Cooler extend the lead anymore, but that's not really the question at the moment. Cooler to turn this around will have to do quite a lot, and I think he's more concerned about just staying alive, holding this sort of secret nail position, and knowing that if he hears those sound cues, he's probably going to have an escape route of some sort. And already, I think that psygib, between items, has to be chasing quite hard to find where Cooler's going to be.
There's also the factor of Ghost Walk. You know, picking Nyx on a map like this, very intelligent from Cooler because he knows he can play this snail's pace game. And then the moment it's, okay, I think I've actually been caught out of position here, or there's a bad situation, she has got that instant Ghost Walk effect to get out of harm's way for free, really. And that just goes hand in hand with Blood Run and a style like Cooler's, the slow pace of, I'm going to just sit down, allow you to maintain all these items. Because look, it's just taking time. psygib's doing multiple cycles of these pickups, and all it's really accomplishing so far is losing the clock. He's obviously trying to keep control, so when the fight breaks out, maybe he's able to really kind of just power his way through. But we've already hit the 5-minute warning, and so far now, the pressure really is on psygib to try and make something happen. But Cooler's so happy to just content, sit there in the middle of the map, listen out for the sound cues. Caught swapping weapons, could have been an opportunity for some real damage, but psygib running out of rockets. That's going to waste even more time.
Yeah, but time wasting is a happy thing for Cooler. Spending a lot of time up in that nail gun room. And he was spending some time also trying to listen out for the major items just to make sure that, okay, I got the exact timing. That means I kind of know what psygib's, not his item rotation is like, but the time between the items where he's probably going to try and chase me. So it just gives him that extra little detail to know, okay, this is when I have to be extra tense and extra anticipating.
This is the rail shot, which is really bad news. But what's good news is that rail to capitalize. And just like that, Cooler, fresh off the spawn, no armor. Now psygib can really catch Cooler out of position. There's potential to come back. That is only one frag, still needs 2 more. And as long as Cooler gets the weapons he needs, he can kind of resume his scheduled programming. He did take a long time to finally concede that frag. That rocket's pretty good news, though, because now Cooler out once more. Does psygib get the good read? Doesn't want to stray too far from the apple tree, I don't think. But Cooler did manage to get away all the same.
Yeah, I think looking at the hourglasses too is going to be important for psygib.
Absolutely deny the Ghost Walk as much as possible.
Well, okay, this is some big steps that psygib's making in this map. Managing to lock down Cooler for a second time on his way to a supposed comeback. He's been very fast around the map for Kill. Considering Kill's not one of the mobile champions, his movement has been exemplary.
Absolutely, and a really sort of bonus frag in some ways near the light armor. You can see the difference in Nyx's efficiency when she has a Ghost Walk and when she doesn't. Because when she doesn't, she's basically the easiest champion in the game to kill. And when she has got it, that's where the dynamic applies. That's where the slow-paced game that Cooler's trying to play the evasive. psygib's doing a great job of kind of whittling it down and only needs to get one more to tie things up. The bonus of him having this constant level of control means that when he does manage to catch Cooler out, Cooler is pretty much essentially guaranteed to die, unless he pulls off like these miracle shots and then psygib somehow misses everything, which right now isn't very likely. That rail is very important though. Automatically puts psygib a little bit behind, forces him to go towards Mega all the same. He's looking to get a rocket jump, much faster way of traveling up, and the jump pad being a little bit too obvious. Does know that Cooler's there, but Cooler not interested in fighting. My man wants to run away as long as possible.
That's all right. psygib's been putting on the pressure still. One thing he has to look at is his ammunition now that he's got those items. Super shotgun ready for him.
Chasing towards Mega for another time. You know, Cooler only really interested in having a rail angle for when that time comes. Wait for the Mega to be taken, yeah, sure, but then hit a rail. This rocket jump's going to be real. At this point, still needs to force the Ghost Walk, though, so it looked like a slight situation for psygib. Cooler with his defense ready to go and no Ghost Walk needed. And now we are starting to hit a bit of an alarming territory. 1 minute 40 left. psygib's done a good job so far, but he catches him off guard. No need for the Ghost Walk just yet. Cooler running for his life. And still no significant connections just yet. He's going full speed ahead.
Okay, he's just forced out the Ghost Walk. That's pretty big news. He's giving a bit of respect to Cooler in case he decides to make an aggressive play onto the Mega Health. He's got 2 rockets left, 1 rail. Certainly topping that up is on the priority list somewhere. And oh god, Cooler hits that big shot. Heavy's going to be up in a second. He has got some grenades they can put out. LG's been looking good. Cooler still can take a rail shot. Grenade on the side, the rocket splash is going to shut psygib down. What a comeback he'd been looking to make. But Cooler, he wants to shut down this series.
For sure. I mean, that was a time to come in with the clutch with Cooler. He took the risk and understood that if I get caught out of position, I just need to make sure I've got my LG angle. I have to compete with the damage. So even if I'm getting peppered down, I can at least return the favor and hit harder. That's exactly what Cooler managed to do in the last few seconds. And now 35 seconds left to go. Cooler, okay, he's getting chased. The Ghost Walk forced. And this is going to waste a bunch of time. psygib, does he get the right call? Is he able to chase this with enough time?
I think he went the upper shotgun hallway, and Cooler is back in secret. psygib's going to be chasing. If he can get the kill in the next couple of seconds, then who knows? But he's just had the rotation of items that he's had to leave up. He's been forced away. What a great game from psygib, but an even better one from Cooler. Catch up, this is Cooler securing his way into the semi-finals.
Looks like my prediction was correct, Zoop. It's going to be a 3-1 to Cooler. psygib had a wonderful beginning, but from that point on, it was pretty much just the Cooler show, wasn't it? He's going to move on into semi-finals, facing off against the winner of Kilson or Wenger. Shout-outs to psygib. Unfortunately, the Americas journey does end here for the Stage 1 finals, but he had one hell of a run this weekend.
No, a brilliant run and a fantastic corrupted keep. I think he fell apart a little bit over on Blood Covenant and Awoken, but Blood Run was brilliant from him. Such a good effort at making a comeback in what is a very difficult champion matchup to play.
For sure. I think we're kind of, we'll talk about this a little bit later. We have a little bit of time as Cooler's preparing for the stage interview. Curious to hear what he has to say. Actually, I'd love to really have the chance to pick his brains about how he's feeling about the weekend. And obviously, he's going to be feeling good having his first win of the weekend, taking out psygib. But now, I believe very, very soon, we'll be taking it to the stage. And yeah, take it away, chaps.
Thank you very much, guys. Coolers, congratulations. You're into the semi-finals. This is, of course, familiar territory for someone who set such high expectations for himself. But tell me a bit about how you feel your level has been this weekend so far.
Very bad. Actually, I was thinking about losing 3-0, to be honest, because, I don't know, I was practicing matches, and I was like losing like tons of them to like everyone, and I don't know, something happened on the stage. Actually, game feels better, aim is better, and yeah, I'm trying to be myself.
Oh, I'm glad it clicked when you were on the stage. Do you feel like it's something you can sort of keep the momentum into the semi-final game now? Has that sort of woken you up in a sense?
Yeah, actually, this moment gave me kind of trust, let's say, in myself, and awesome. Yeah, I'm actually thinking that I can do it. Yeah.
Fantastic. The dream is alive. Best of luck to you. Casters, back to you to let us know how that game unfolded.
I think Cooler getting this win has opened up a real mixed bag of players left in this tournament that could absolutely go all the way. I think this is one of the first, and especially actually with the elimination of Rafa, it has opened up to me a real situation where everyone left could totally win. Is that there is no clear favorite at all.
It's definitely tough to tell. I think this is a discussion that we'll probably have to have between Yumi and 40 and figure out what we think, because the competition is so heated at the moment. It's so difficult to tell who's going to be able to take it all. I want to just give some credit to psygib, as he's going to be seeing himself off the stage. He's had a brilliant run here. Cooler was anxious about his game leading into it, but what a way to come out of it with a good victory. And just for a little one, for 40, there's no Americas players left?
There is not. I mean, you've been waiting about 3 years to gloat about that.
It's been a long time, okay?
The time has finally come.
It's been a while.
It was long from the days of everyone saying, hey, look,